Two guys, one bench.
Shit talking, strength sports, combat sports. Game over.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Two Guys, One Bench. We're 650 pounds of fecal matter stuffed in a 30-pound bag, Drill.
Where there's more shit talking than there was shit dropping in Jay Cutler's pants.
And that's a lot of shit. Watch this animation. Boom!
Training for, I think it was the '06 Olympia. I was eating this Ezekiel cereal.
A lot of fiber.
I think it irritated my intestines. I'm in the gym training back that day, and I'm like, damn, like my fucking stomach's like killing me. And I'm like, I gotta go home and I have to leave the gym. Like, and I was pulling out. I remember exactly where it was. I was at the cross street of Lake Mead in Buffalo. I was in my silver Mercedes, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't hold this any longer. And literally, I just shit myself. I swear to God, it raised me in the seat. When I got home, I'm like, was I afraid to get up because I didn't want it to leak? Yeah, and I'm like, fuck, this feels so terrible, you know? I was like, damn, like, I'm a grown man and I'm shitting myself after the gym, you know? One time I was walking the dogs too, and the same thing. I was going through the same issue. They were doing construction in my neighborhood. Thank God they had the outhouse because I had a shit so bad. So the dogs were on the leashes, and I was in shitting on the thing, and the dogs were outside the outhouse.
Can you imagine how good that would be to see that? Oh my God, that's Jay Cutler.
You know what drives me crazy too is Ed Connors tells all these young kids now, Jay used more toilet paper than anyone I ever had. And that's not true. Dude, I was driving like my dream Mercedes.
Yeah. How'd you clean that? I mean, how'd you clean that up? It must have been a mess.
I threw the pants out. I remember they were gray pants.
Oh, so they were just toast.
Oh, they were soaking wet.
You poop on the seat?
Oh, yeah, the seats had to be cleaned and everything. I mean, it ran through. I
Section.
probably could have sold those pants on eBay.
And Smokey would have bought them.
Raised you up out of your seat.
Hey, that's one of the downsides of bodybuilding was like, you have to get used to living on the toilet.
Rant of the week. We're about to pop some caps.
All right, everybody, I just want to rant about people that expect to be successful, but never give back to the community or even, try to help people out that are in need. I just find that, talking with Mark Bell in our interview, he's a man that's always giving back. He's put out hundreds and thousands of hours of videos on, how to lift and the world's powerlifting. It's amazing. And just people in general, like if you get a phone call from someone and you just realize every time they call, all they're doing is asking for something and they want something from you. Well, are they really successful? I doubt it. It's about people that give back to the community and just try to help people out. It's not all about the money. It's about, the sport, what you're doing and what you love. My gym and what I'm about is all about, creating a better life for people and, having people live a healthier existence. Darrell?
Yeah, what you got to be aware of is all the toes you step on belong to all the asses you're going to one day have to kiss. Because you're not always going to be at the top and you're going to need someone eventually. But if all you do is use, people are not going to want to associate themselves with you. And you're just going to be singled out and lonely.
Yeah. So if you kind of find yourself thinking, oh, I need to contact this guy because I need this and I need to use this person for that. Stop yourself right now, motherfucker. Instead, think about, oh, I should go help this person because they need my help. Or I should be this friendly person to that person instead of being an asshole. How about that, motherfuckers?
What I want to talk about is people who rely heavily on pre-workout. It's almost like you couldn't work out without it. Like, what did people do for decades before pre-workout came out? I guess no one lifted a weight ever. These are the same people who just blame absolutely everything on, well, I didn't take my pre-workout. Oh, your powdered crystals are the reason you're being a pussy in the gym. Maybe you just don't have discipline. It has nothing to do with your high sugar energy drink that got you through the workout. All these people you need a crutch to rely on. How about you go in and train and actually exhibit some fucking discipline instead of relying on a $5 cheap piece of shit?
Yeah, these drinks, I mean, you know what's in these? No, you don't. They're full of shit. Like I've had pre-workouts from the States that basically had meth in them. They're fucking shit. And not only that, people, come up to you in the gym. Hey man, you got some pre-workout? People are always bumming shit off of you. And are they the guys that are actually putting in work in the gym? No. They're these skinny fucks that think that their little sip of drink is going to help them through their workout. And without it, they can't do anything. Well, Darrell, how many pre-workouts do you take?
0.
Oh, me either. I might have a cup of coffee and maybe some sodium pills. and some creatine. That's about it. And all these intra workouts and all these shakes, so immediately 20 minutes after you work out, you gotta have a shake. Fuck all that shit. How about this? Eat some food, some real food, get some sleep, and train your ass off. Those are the solutions to your problem of being a little bitch. Boom!
Rant of the week. We're about to pop some caps. Strength sports.
Do more, be more. If you want to be more, if you want to be better, you have to do better. It's pretty simple. The more that you do, the more that you can handle. You're going to have to figure out a way to have some good output. And if you're going to have some good output, it's going to be surrounded by you putting things into action. That action will motivate the fuck out of you. It will motivate you tremendously. As you are more motivated, as you do more, you will become more. In the journey, you will become more. What can you become? Who's to tell you? No one can tell you. Someone say, "Oh, you're just going to be a welder." Somebody say, "You're not real smart with math or science or history, so you're just going to be packing boxes." That's definitely not true, because nobody has any idea of the potential of the human mind in any capacity. That's right, I'm the inventor of the circle. You can set out to become something specific, and you can work on it, and the more that you do, the more that you can become, and you can work your way towards becoming just about anything that you can possibly think of. And so that person that says you're dumb, that person that says you're slow or too fat or too this or too that, and you'll never be able to do. The more you do, the more motivated, the more fired up you're going to be, and the easier it's going to be to become something. I would like for all of you to roll the dice on your own life and bet on yourself. Roll the dice on your own life and bet on yourself. We're going to talk to you today about my invention, the slingshot. What I'm interested in is learning about what you can become in that process. I was a fat, dumb kid from Poughkeepsie who, I kind of thought no one ever gave me a shot, but meanwhile I grew up with great parents and great brothers and had a pretty good support network, a support network that was strong enough to allow me to believe in myself just enough to hang in there. And a big person that was in my corner was my mama. Mama Belle was right there for everything all the time, ensuring that I didn't lose myself, that I stayed connected to understanding that you can't live a victim mentality. And that's why I say fuck what you heard pretty often, is because I know that once you start to get momentum in a certain area, you build up a little momentum and you start to recognize how much you're enjoying that momentum, how much you enjoy doing the thing that you're doing. That momentum is tenacious and it becomes unstoppable at a certain point, and then things become sort of irrelevant. It kind of becomes irrelevant whether you're fat or not. It kind of becomes irrelevant if you're not as good looking as you want to be. It kind of becomes irrelevant if you're not as strong as you want to be or as smart as everybody else, and who even is to determine. There's so many different levels of strength. There's so many different levels of intelligence. It's your job to work on finding what it is that you got inside, what's within you, what's in there, what's on the inside. There's something there. There's something there, and for a spark to turn into a fire, it needs some air, right? It needs some oxygen. You ever see those little things that you squeeze and on a fire, and it gets the ash going in the fireplace, and then the fire starts to become a roaring blaze after a while, where you're like, whoa, like, I don't know if I even meant for it to catch fire like that. How are you going to catch fire? You're going to catch fire by doing more and being more.
All right, everybody. So we had one of the most, special experiences having Mark Bell, the creator of Slingshot, on the podcast. If you don't know who he is, you've been hiding under a rock, because this guy has been pumping out any kind of information to do with powerlifting for over a decade. All the best in the sports. He sponsors multiple athletes and meets. Just an amazing guy who's done so much with his life He's been in movies. His brother directs, movies, Bigger, Stronger, Faster. He was in that. He's been on Joe Rogan multiple times. He's just an animal and a badass. Darrell?
It was obviously great to have someone like Mark on it, because having someone of his caliber talking to us, he's just a really down-to-earth guy, and being able to hear what it took to build up such an amazing company, and also his approach to things now.
And just as he says in the podcast, you guys like, whoa, how did you get this guy on the fucking podcast? Well, I got a number from his Instagram 2 years ago, roughly. And he said, I'm the people's coach. Reach out if you need some help or we want to talk to me. I sent him a picture of my new Escalade, it was a Slangermobile. And he got back to me, said, cool new truck. And I left it at that. I wasn't some weird stalker trying to fucking text him every week. And then I just reached out to him, last Sunday, and he called me directly, said, hey man, how's it going? Talked with him with 10 minutes. And then boom, we had this podcast. So don't be scared to reach out and ask people for things. Don't be scared to get out of your fucking comfort zone, living in this little fucking box where you think, oh, I can't do that because I can't, this guy does that and I can't do that. Shut the fuck up. Go beyond your barriers and what you think you can do, and you'll be able to do it. Just push your fucking self. Boom!
Special guest, slingshot inventor, the people's coach, Mark Bell.
All right, everybody. We're here with Mark Bell, one of the greatest guys in powerlifting, creates so much content, amazing channel, amazing podcast, amazing products. I mean, what else can we say? You probably know who he is. Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for the opportunity to be on your show.
No, thank you. I just want to say, I was talking to you earlier about living in Japan. I was there 11 years, moved back to Canada 2013. Didn't know what I wanted to do. I was a fighter, thought I would coach MMA, and got into personal training. And I was done getting punched in the face and flatlined. So I decided, what other sport can I get into? And one of the other trainers goes, you're a huge guy. You should get into powerlifting. Check out this guy's YouTube channel. And he's saying, you can go down there and train for free if you could squat over 500 back in the day. And I'm just like, since then, from all your info and all the videos you put out, I was able to get strong as hell just by following you in a basic 5-3-1.
Awesome. Yeah. I thought when I first kind of, not even first got into powerlifting. I got into powerlifting when I was a kid, but when I first started to kind of get back into it more so as an adult, I just thought I think other people are going to really dig this, and by the amount of views I would get on a lot of stuff, I was pretty much proven wrong for a while because no one really cared, but I made video after video, and the videos, they would have never lasted if it was about, if it was only about the views. The video content I provide for YouTube would have never lasted. It would never taken off. But the reason why I did take off is because we know how important it is the value of having video footage of your actual lift, not to pound your chest and to say I'm a badass, although that does feel great sometimes, and be like, wow, I can't believe I was able to do a double with that weight that I couldn't even get for a single a couple months back. But the form, the technique of it, being able to, I love powerlifting. I love the fact that you're trying to maintain a certain position throughout you're trying to maintain a particular position throughout an entire range of motion. And it's really cool to watch how different body types and different people execute it. You might have a girl that's 132 pounds and she's got to contort her body this way in a sumo deadlift fashion to be able to lift, 500 pounds, right? And then you have a guy who's 340 and he's 6'6" or something like that, just some big old monster strongman guy. Well, he's got to figure out how to organize his body in order to lift 800 pounds, 900 pounds, whatever it might be. So I always found that to be really fascinating. And as I was recording a lot of the stuff, I'm like, I think other people are going to really enjoy this. I think other people are going to really love this. And so I need to document it. And so that's how you were able to see a lot of these videos, is that at first it started off with me filming myself and filming my team so everyone could see, the guy that drives his knees really far forward on the box squat, or the guy that deadlifts week in and week out with this kind of broken deadlift where it looks like they're throwing up in a toilet, or they look like they're a dog shitting on the front lawn. I can tell them a million times, but when we post it on YouTube and the comments come through, like, Mark, why are you letting this guy lift like an asshole at your gym? You know, and I could say, dude, you know what, man, I told you 20 times, like, didn't you know that? So a lot of it started with me just kind of thinking it would be cool to post some of these videos because of the amount of weights that we were moving around. But the biggest factor that kept it going in the first place was the fact that the entire team would get to see themselves doing a lift, and they would see themselves week in and week out, and they could even kind of track their progress and say, man, I'm not really going anywhere. Like, what's going on with this? Or they could look at it and say, oh, thank God, I'm like heading in the right direction, things like that. So that's what kept it going in the first place.
Yeah, I know for myself, especially before I ever got into powerlifting, I was never even considering it. It was never a thought. I was a basketball player my whole life. And then around 22, 23, 3 knee surgeries later, kind of transitioning, trying to figure out what to do. So I was a bro in the gym for a few years. But even at that time, I still had seen all your videos and seeing how to properly deadlift, squat, bench. I know it really helped me. So by the time I finally made that transition, it was big for me because I remember watching all those videos and thinking, how in the fuck do people move this kind of weight? That's not normal. You can't just do that. And then to eventually be able to pull 800 or squat 600. Like, I don't think I would have got there without having content like yours out there on YouTube.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. And just, I want to point something out, you know, to everybody listening, is that something I learned, I mean, this is like biblical even, but like, this is something I learned, you know, probably about 10 years ago. If you want something, all you have to do for it is ask. It's the simplest thing. I mean, I get a text message out of nowhere a couple days ago from you, and you know, it just, hey, you know, I'm a fan. I got your number off of Instagram. You know, a couple years back when you were crazy enough to release your phone number, and I just wanted to like provide more value for people, help people. This is before the fake numbers would come out. Like people now have like these kind of, they're not fake numbers, but they're set up specifically to kind of keep fans at a distance. This was my actual phone number, and people can still actually text me, and people still actually do. And so people are like, how did they get Mark on the show? This podcast is new, or this podcast, you know, this podcast isn't enormous, doesn't have millions and millions of listeners. It just starts with asking, you know, and then even to follow up on asking though is the desire in your own heart to want to go to do something. So that's how somebody gets to deadlift 700 pounds. They start poking around. They start asking questions. They're like, I deadlift 500. How in the fuck do these other guys deadlift 700? It starts with a question, and then chasing down that question is the journey itself.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that number you handed out, and I did text you that I had bought a new Escalade. I'm like, check out my new Slanger mobile, and you're like, cool,
awesome.
Man. And since then, yours blew up, and you hate Cadillacs, but that's okay. I got a Dodge Ram now too, but yeah. And then just on a whim, I'm like, I need someone on the podcast this week. I'm going to give it a try. And you know, within seconds, you're like, I'm in. And then you call me. I'm like, what the fuck? All right, we'll have a 10-minute convo with Mark Bell. That's cool. And here we are now. But yeah, I'm the same way. Like, you know, my whole life has been a journey. Like, moved to Japan by myself, stay there 11 years, do some crazy shit like that. So you gotta be, you know, willing to take risks and ask people, you know, things that you don't think will happen, right?
Absolutely. And you did something else that's great, is you surrounded yourself with like-minded people. I mean, look who you're collaborating with to be on your podcast, and then look at all the different people that you told me that you rubbed elbows with when you were in Japan. You weren't like, oh, I'm going to be a cage fighter and I'm going to get a cool tattoo on my shoulder and tell everybody how tough I am. You went to like the hardest place in the world to fight at the time, Japan, and rubbed elbows with some of these monsters that were in Pride Fighting Championships and K1. And I mean, nasty spot to be in, but those were the best people. And you're like, sounds logical to me. I'm going to go and I'm going to get my ass kicked by the best people because that'll help me be the best.
Yeah, I mean, and I went out there as an English teacher at the beginning. So I was like, all right, gym bro, English teacher, I can get into fighting. Bob Sapp, yeah, I can do that. And then I did it, and it's crazy. And now I often talk with Bob Sapp, you know. So it's insane how things have come. And I hope I can just call you randomly every now and then and say hi too. Yeah. But one thing I want to say is, you know, you've been such an influence in the strength community. You're saying, you know, since the beginning, you started these videos of you just training, then getting all these guests on that are, you know, world champions and whatnot, and slowly just building your podcast and everything. So you're such an influence. For me as a trainer, and now I'm a gym owner, it's just to give that knowledge and know that I'm helping people is the most valuable thing. Money comes second. And I think that's kind of, you know, why people love you, even though you kind of brag about being the meathead millionaire. They know you're down to earth and you really care about people.
I mean, it's part of the reason why the gym is free. You know, super training is free, and you know, it's still free. So like anybody that wants to come between 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Saturday, Sunday, 855 Riverside Parkway, West Sacramento, California. Come on in. You know, we're open, and like I always wanted to keep the level of entry into fitness like very low, because I remember what it was like to be new, and I remember what it was like to not know what was going on, and I also remember all the people that helped me. I've had hundreds of people help me, if not maybe even thousands. I've had so many different people over the years when I was deadlifting and when I was squatting and benching, and when I didn't know what to do. I mean, what if some of these people never showed me how to do these movements? I would have probably just never stuck with it long enough, because maybe I would have gotten hurt. Maybe I would have just not liked it anymore. I mean, my brother Chris is the one that really inspired me and really got me into powerlifting. And my brother Mike was into lifting as well. So that's kind of how I got into just lifting, period. But, you know, I kind of think for myself, I'm like, well, if I shun somebody, if I don't help somebody, I don't answer that question on Instagram, or I don't do my best to get around to as many people as possible, I could be shutting somebody out. That could be, you know, potentially this could be like you know, powerlifting or lifting weights in general could potentially be something that saves that person's life, could be something that just enhances someone's life. And I would love to be a part of that in any way that I can.
I think that's what really separates you from a lot of people is you seem very down to earth. You're very grateful. You make it seem like from watching the videos that it's a family environment. Like obviously you're a family man dedicated to that, but you're also giving so much to the people in your gym and the people that you help, and you've got a successful business. Like what I want to know is, with everything going on, how do you balance all of that?
You know, I think, you know, it depends on when you ask me this question. You know, like if you ask me this question, like when I was in the middle of my powerlifting career, I would say, you know, you don't, because I was, you know, chasing after, you know, 900-pound bench and an 1,100-pound squat and an 800-pound deadlift. You know, there just wasn't a lot of balance, but I was very fortunate at that time that my wife was the one. Like I made the sacrifice with, I guess, my body, you know, just trying to smash myself with all these weights. But I was really just pursuing what I loved, and I was afforded that opportunity by my wife. And I always like to point that stuff out to people. And same thing with my parents. I grew up with great parents. You know, I didn't even have anything to do with selecting them. I just ended up with amazing parents that always believed in me and kind of instilled some of these values in me that you guys still see when I'm sharing this information out with other people. But yeah, my wife was a huge part of it in the beginning because she was the breadwinner. She was the one making money. So I have a lot of people who are like, hey man, how'd you make this work? Or how'd you make, you know, I got to point to family. I got to point to my brothers. I got to point to my wife. I got to point to my parents. They're all huge staples in everything that I've ever been good at. My dad told me one time, he said, you know, don't ever be upset with yourself for loving your work. You know, because I asked him that question years ago. I was like, Dad, I'm kind of finding myself like, you know, I'm at the gym a lot, you know, And he's like, well, he's like, the gym at this point is kind of your job. You're hunting down these big numbers. And at the time, I think I already created Slingshot. I had Power Magazine. So there was a little bit of stuff going on, but it really wasn't like a crazy amount of income coming in from any of that. But it was going, well. I think most people would say, hey, look, you know what? If it's guaranteed that you're going to make a few $100,000, it's okay if you're gone all the time. And I would disagree with that. I would say that it's only okay if you're gone all the time if it's for a set amount of time. So back to your main question about balance, how do you balance it out? Well, first of all, I think it helps a lot to have a great support system, because my sister-in-law, April, my brother-in-law Andy, my mother-in-law Sherry, my dad, my parents, my brother. These are all people that would like look after my kids on a Friday night so I can go on a date with my wife, because I was, in the gym so much during the week. Maybe I can get a Friday night to, go to a movie with her and have dinner or something like that. So all those things were really valuable to sort of balancing things out. But I think ultimately you're going to end up in a lot of times where you're unbalanced. Think about like if you were to walk on something, not a tightrope, because none of us could do that. But if you're just trying to walk on a curb or something, and you're trying to keep your balance, well, there's going to be moments where you get off balance a little bit. You're going to feel like you're going to fall to one side, and you kind of recalibrate, and then you can kind of continue walking forward. I feel that life is that way. There might be a period of time from the time your kids are, 0 to 7 or 8, that you really don't get a good opportunity to spend a lot of time with them. But when you do have an opportunity to spend time with them, you're actually there, you're actually present, you're not halfway dead from working so much, and you can actually, pay attention to what they're doing. But maybe that's because maybe you're not there all the time because that's the start of your career, or that's the start of you trying to manage 2 jobs and a family. I mean, those things are going to happen. But somebody's got to be with your kids. And so with my children and the way my family was set up, even though my wife afforded me the opportunity to pursue powerlifting with everything I had, I still had to be a dad. I still had to be there for my kids a lot because my wife was the one making the money. So I had to kind of be like a super dad, but I kind of understood my role in order to kind of make all these, to balance all these things and to juggle all these things. But just to kind of summarize, like when it comes to balance, don't worry about being off balance, just as long as you can recalibrate at some point and have balance. Because the whole point of balance would be that you have decent relationships with like some friends and some family. Good if if you could have it be good or great, that's awesome. And then on top of that, you have maybe a hobby or 2 that you like to do, and on top of that, you have just like work and things like that, and you end up with a nice work life relationship. But it can be really difficult to figure all that out. But like if you're diving all in on something and you're trying to get somewhere, don't have the fear of being balanced be the thing that stands in your way. Like figure out a way, whatever way you have to, figure out a way to still get it. It might take you longer because you're trying to be balanced throughout, but don't have it be a hurdle that's completely in the way.
Yeah, definitely. There's times in life where you have to be out of balance to make things work. Like right now, I just bought that gym in the middle of COVID, and I'm leaving there at midnight every night. It's crazy, but my wife knows. And luckily, well, not luckily, we don't have kids. We tried, but if I had kids, that'd be a whole nother set of variables. But yeah. And then, I want to give my condolences to you about your mother passing. I actually experienced the same thing in 2019. So it was a hard void in my life to try to fill, and it'll never be, full. But there was some kind words. I remember your mom. I mean, I feel like I know you already just through all the videos that you have out. And you said, when you were younger, you would have trouble in school and you weren't the best student. And your mother said to you, listen, are those other kids stronger than you? No. Are those other kids, better in sports than you? Hell no. You're special that way. And that really, hit my heart a bit, Not that I was the worst student, but just everybody has their own significant values to give this world, and everybody's different. That's the beauty about it. But the school systems, or for whatever reason, just want you to follow the same set of rules, same tests to get you to college, to do all the same shit. But you went outside those rules, and you became a meathead millionaire. And I just wanted to see what you thought about that, and should our book smart's overrated. Everybody has their own intelligence and a way to get it across. So yeah, I just wanted to pick your brain about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, my mom, she was amazing at she was very like pro for her kids, like so much to the point where she was like anti everybody else and anti everything else.
Yeah.
She was the mom at the grocery store that you get behind that's talking to the person at the cashier forever, and you're like, man, I just want to check out. Like, why do I have to hear this lady talking about her kid hit a home run in baseball or whatever? That was my mom. She was always, even to people that didn't want to listen, she was always telling them how great her children were. And, she instilled a lot of confidence in us, which was really cool and actually very interesting. After her death, I contemplated and thought about that a lot, like where that came from. And it's kind of sad in a way because she just didn't have that in herself. But I thought it was really cool and really made me maybe understand her whole life a little bit more, because while she didn't have the strength to pull herself out of her own situations, she had enough strength to pass it on to everybody else, which I thought was really, really awesome. I don't know how you do that when you're hurting yourself. My mom was abused as a kid and just grew up with really rough circumstances, and she could just never get out from under it herself. But that's something that we never really saw or even barely knew anything about, because she was so strong and she was able to pass along a lot of strength and confidence to me and my brothers, each one of us having, unconventional jobs and being unconventional thinkers. In terms of like, school stuff and, trying to, in school, they used to want they used to be able to hang it over your head that like you have to get these good grades to go to college and that you need to go to college in order to get a job. But they really never, like, I don't know about you guys, but like I was never told like, here's the whole reason why you want to do well in school, and then you want to, move on and eventually, go to college, do well in college. And it's all because you're trying to provide a specific value to any of these companies that you might want to work for, depending on what it is that you're interested in. But what they never tell you is they never tell you to just chase what you're interested in, which that would have been a great place to start. And they say, hey, Bill, at, 14, what are you interested in? And you'd be like, cars, and hey, you got any experience with cars? Yeah, my dad's a mechanic and I work on cars every day with my dad. Well, that's really cool. Have you ever thought about, you can go to a trade school, you can really learn this and you can master it. So if you're trying to think of like, how could you be a, maybe not an expert, but like kind of a material expert in a specific area? Well, there's a lot of money to be made in that. There's a lot of, there might be some financial freedom awaiting you if you can learn a specific skill. And so I think a lot of that stuff is missed, when you go to school, because it's traditional education and you're learning about the history, or you're learning about history and science and math, and it's not really a preparation thing for life. And I had to stop myself years ago. I used to say, oh man, I wish they taught that in school. But I stopped saying that because I'm like, I got my own kids. And so I'm going to say, I'm going to stop saying that. And I'm just going to take it upon myself to teach some of this in my household and to make it important in my house to kind of, so I mess with my son all the time. He and I joke a lot. He likes to play video games. He likes to play his guitar. And I tease him a lot. I'm like, hey man, you can't play video games all your life. What are you doing? You're going to be a loser. I say it to him, but like, we're totally kidding around. And he gets like a laugh out of it. Or you can't just play your guitar all your life. My point is, the reason why I say it to him is that you can do that. There are people that play video games and they make millions of dollars. There's people that become musicians and become rock stars, So I'm not going to be, a parent that's going to, put any limitation on, like what my children can do. And I'm a big fan of like presenting kids with options and ideas and then allowing it to sort of become their own idea. And I do, that is something that we work on a lot at home and to allow my children the kind of freedom to grow into whatever it is they want to do.
That's awesome. Yeah. You're that watching you bigger, stronger, faster was like going through, I think we're roughly the same age. I'm 41. And it's just like going through my entire childhood with the Hulkamania and, I was one of those kids. Like I had my first bench press at 9 years old. That's what I wanted to be. And obviously I'm here now, but yeah, I went through a weird path to get here. Yeah.
Well, what I want to know is you've already established like an amazing brand. It's worldwide, probably the biggest name in the powerlifting and strength community. What kind of is next for you? Like what's the next big goal? Because I know obviously when you're competing, there's always, there's this number to hit, then there's this number to hit, like you were talking before, 800 pull, 1,000-pound squat. Like what's the next big benchmark for you to hit with your company?
I just want to continue to be a thorn in everyone's side. No, I'm just kidding. I want to continue to be like a category disruptor. I want to continue to be somebody that is innovative and creative. And when I come out with a product, I always want to kind of like wow people with it, for one. But number two is I always want people to the second thing they say is like, why didn't I think of that? And part of the reason for that is just I want to have creations that provide a lot of value for people. And more recently, I've been kind of thinking about some of the different projects I'm working on and what I did create with Slingshot and why Slingshot worked. And this could be really valuable to anybody listening to this right now. The greatest way to annihilate your competition is to not have any. The greatest way, because then you get to be out in front. But the only way that you get to not have any competition is, A, you have to have a lot more money than them, execute a lot better than them, some of those kinds of things. Forget about any of that. All you have to do is be innovative. If you're innovative and creative, then guess what happens? There is no competition because nobody's in your category. When I came out with the Slingshot, when I came out with the hip circle, when I came out with the compression cuffs, nobody else had anything like that. So whether somebody liked Mark Bell or didn't like Mark Bell, if the product worked, people would just purchase it. They would just buy it. It didn't really matter a ton on, how much people were hanging their hat on my personality or whatever it might be. And then, in creating the steak shake, it was kind of the same thing. It's like, there's not a product like this in the world. I had somebody recently say, well, how does this compare to other proteins out there? And I'm like, it just doesn't. Like there's no competition. Nothing compares to it because this is the only protein that you're going to get that has beef protein in it, whey protein in it, egg protein in it, collagen protein in it. And then on top of that, it has organ meats in it. It has liver, pancreas, heart, and spleen, which I know all sounds disgusting. And that's part of the reason why I called it a steak shake, is I knew that people would think any combination of all these things would taste disgusting. And so I made a chocolate flavored one and a vanilla flavored one, and they actually both taste really good. And people will have an opportunity to purchase that soon. But that's what's next for me, is to continue to create. I have a couple things in the works with like Rogue Fitness right now. I've got a couple things here at Slingshot that are about to be released. I mean, 2021 is going to be the biggest year that we've ever had by far. I mean, it's just not even going to. It will probably be the biggest growth that the company's ever seen, period. Even from, there was a time period where obviously we went from like nothing to doing really well with the sales of Slingshots and wrist wraps and stuff like that. But there hasn't been a big bang in the company in a really long time since we brought on like knee sleeves. Like it's been a while, like we've had a nice steady crawl and we've been doing really, really well. But this year is going to be quite a bit different. And a lot of that has to do with my staff and my team. I got an amazing team here, and all I have to worry about each and every day is like when I'm going to like lift, when I'm going to eat, and aside from that, like I do have to still bring some creativity to the room, but even with the creativity that I bring to the building every day, I could still go to Andrew and Ensima and say, hey, what do you think about this for the podcast? Or a lot of times I don't have any ideas for the podcast. And Andrew's like, hey, I've been thinking about this. Or Ensima does it a lot too. Ensima's like, hey, I got these couple things that I think would be really good for the show. And then even in terms of product development, I work with Tom Thornton, works here at Slingshot, who did a powerlifting meet and a bodybuilding show. That's a big part of our community and big part of what goes on here at Slingshot World Headquarters is that most of the people in here are participating in fitness in some way. But Tom is our product development person. And I would think that people that have been following Slingshot for a long time would think, wow, they've created a lot of shit over there, like a lot of different wrist wraps, a lot of different knee wraps, a lot of different knee sleeves and elbow sleeves and t-shirts and hats and shorts and sweatpants and just, I mean, we have deadlift slippers. We've made everything you can possibly think of. And I think that people would be shocked to know that all that stuff came from me originally by myself, but then more recently, bringing on Tom. So it's just the two of us. I went to Rogue Fitness probably maybe about 2 months ago, or about a month ago. And when I was out there, they had 11 engineers and they had like 10 designers, you know. And obviously Rogue Fitness is a way bigger company than what we have going on here at Slingshot. But it's just me and Tom, man, throwing out these, harebrained ideas, and we keep cranking them out. So what's next for me is just to continue to put up points on a scoreboard by coming out with products that are going to provide a lot of value for people and that are unique.
Yeah, I think it says something when if you go to any gym, any serious gym around North America or really the world, you're going to see your product somewhere on that gym. Like the powerlifting gym me and Russ go to, you go there, there's about 3 slingshots over in the corner. You'll see your wraps. There's people with your knee sleeves. It just doesn't matter where you are, whether someone knows your name or not, your product is represented in every serious gym.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling. And it's not even so much like a feeling of like accomplishment necessarily. It just gets me really pumped up and excited because I just love training so much. I just love fitness so much. And I think about, all the gyms I snuck into back when I didn't have enough money for a gym membership over the years, and all the different places I trained at, all the different people that I've met. And just to know that these products are being utilized by people every day. Some people probably think about it a little bit more than others. Some people probably just like, oh, it's a wrist wrap, it works well and it protects me. They probably don't think about it a ton. But some people that, are utilizing the Slingshot that have had an injured shoulder or torn pec or torn tricep, for some of those people, I've had people come up to me at trade shows crying because they're like, man, I can't thank you enough because I really love to bench and it was taken away from me because I've had an injury. And I just usually give them a big old hug and I'm like, hey man, I get it. You don't need to tell me. I totally understand. That's why I created the product in the first place, because I've torn my shit up a bunch too. And it's demoralizing to have some of these movements taken away from you sometimes when you are chasing after some of those bigger numbers.
Specifically with the Slingshot, I was wondering, did you ever have obviously you had prototypes, but when you were training, let's say a West Sider, were you doing something similar to that, like wrapping bands around your elbows, or how did you kind of get to that?
Well, what I did that's very similar is wearing a bench shirt, more so than anything else. But a bench shirt was really limiting because a bench press shirt, for people that are unaware, they could be, $200-300 very easily. So that's a pretty expensive item right out of the gate. On top of that, it's hard to get a good size for it, a lot of times they're custom. So that's kind of a pain in the ass to even order them. It's not like you just order like an XL bench shirt. You have to order like a size 42, but it's got a certain arm size and length to it and stuff. So it had to be kind of tailored, and there's just a lot of issues with a bench shirt. On top of that, they hurt really bad. Like they mark up your skin. They're really, really irritating, and it takes multiple people to get a bench shirt on. On top of that, because a bench shirt is so strong and it allows you to lift so much more weight, Like a bench shirt could assist you to bench press 200 or 300 pounds more than what you normally might do. I mean, you'd have to be a really seasoned lifter, and you'd have to know what you're doing to get that kind of carryover. But that's what they can do for you. But because they're so strong, it's very hard to train full range of motion. And so I wanted to create something that was going to allow you to train full range of motion so that you can heal from injuries and stuff, because I originally created the slingshot because I tore my pec. And after tearing my pec, in training, I wore a really, really big bench shirt. And even with a torn muscle, the bench shirt was able to catch the weight on the way down just enough so that when I went to press, it was giving me enough compression that it was assisting me with the press just a little bit and taking a lot of that strain off of the injured area. And then so after I did that for a few weeks, I started to heal up and get on the mend a lot faster than I expected. And I just kind of sat there one day, literally on a bench press with, I used to name my bench shirts. So this bench shirt was called Scoopy, and Scoopy was like a bench shirt that was probably made for someone who was like 400 pounds, but I weighed like 290 or 280 at the time. And I wore it a lot in training for assistance exercises and just to keep pressure off the shoulders. But I wore it in this moment where I was injured, and it helped me get through the pain, and it helped me to heal up from a pec tear a lot faster than I anticipated. And that day I kind of sat at the end of the bench and I was like, I got to figure something out with this thing, because this is awesome. Like more people need to know about this. And I know I can't make a bench shirt. So what can I make that can assist people in this lift throughout a full range of motion? And that could be of some benefit to people. And so I just thought about it, and came up with a bunch of bad ideas, and then eventually, kind of landed on the actual slingshot product itself. The bands around the arms and stuff, that is really useful. I mean, you can take some bands, you can crisscross them, put them behind your elbows, and bench press with that. Those are things that I have done at Westside. Louis Simmons is an innovator and a pioneer, in his own right, with the reverse hyperextension and all the different things he's introduced to the strength and fitness community, bands and chains and all that shit. So being at Westside was definitely impactful on being able to come up with the invention in the first place, because Louis, it's no coincidence that Louis Simmons has a free gym, and so do I. I modeled a lot of my stuff after him, and very much admire his ability to be a free thinker and to come up with innovative products.
Wow, that's awesome. And, just because we have you on here and you're such a successful guy, we just want to pick your brain a bit. What does a normal week look like for you? I just imagine you like from morning to night, just having a stacked schedule, but you said you have a good team with you now. So just wanted to pick your brain on that.
Yeah. Like just for today, for example, I got here at around 7:30, 8:00. We rolled right into, or I'm sorry, I got here at about 8:00, and I got some lifting in, just did some back exercises along with a couple of movements I've been doing just for my lower body for some knee rehab type stuff. And I don't really have a problem with my knees, but we had a guy on the show recently. He's called Knees Over Toes Guy. He's on Instagram. And I just wanted to follow his advice for a little bit and see if it would help with my mobility and see if it helps strengthen up my knees a bit. That my right knee has been troublesome for a while. So anyway, I got this back workout in, did some of those lower body movements, worked out for about an hour, worked out with Andrew, who's my podcast engineer, and my brother Chris. And then rolled right into doing a podcast, the one that you listened to live today with Tom File. And from there, I shot a steak shake commercial with Enzima, talking about the steak shake and talking about all the different things that it does and what makes it unique and different. And then for another, that was actually more for a commercial. And then for some YouTube content, I shot another thing right after that. And then bam, I landed in here. And so a lot of times the day will really get away from me throughout this whole morning. I've actually been a little bit more hungry than normal. Normally it doesn't bother me, but today I've been kind of thinking about food. So before I got on here, I was like, do I have time to eat? I was going to eat some salmon and some rice, and it just worked out that I didn't have time for it. So, you know, I can push things off, and I don't mind doing some intermittent fasting, but the intermittent fasting usually just comes from just like not necessarily having, it's not that I don't have time for it. It's that if I eat, it will really slow me down. Like once I eat, I'm pretty relaxed, you know? And so if I am going to eat and I'm in the office and I still have work to do, I will normally just choose either to eat something really small, which is actually too hard for me to do because I like to eat a lot, or I'll just choose not to eat at all. And but that's what a typical day looks like for me. I'm on the run from about 6:30 a.m., where I'm usually walking with my dad for about an hour. And then there's usually like podcasting and creating a lot of content for YouTube. And then I obviously got to get my workouts in. And then a lot of my day actually is spent, like I text a lot. I bounce and text back and forth between a lot of different people, communicating with a lot of different people, and just, you know, trying to book more people for the podcast and things like that. Like these are all things that I don't always have to physically do myself because we do have such a great team. But that's pretty much what the day looks like. I get kind of annihilated from about 7:30 when I'm done walking with my dad until about 3, but then I'm done. I'm done for the day normally, and I get to go home and enjoy dinner with my family, and I get to chill out with the wife, and we usually just like normal folks, just watch some TV and kind of hang out. And my day is usually kind of capped off by either taking a shower or going in our hot tub, something like that. And that's what a typical day looks like. And that's what, you know, most weeks just look like that. I just do that every single day. Weekend is a little bit more freedom on the weekend. And obviously there's a lot of 10-minute walks sprinkled in there throughout the day. And that, when I'm doing that kind of stuff, is where I'm doing my learning. If I'm in my car, I'm usually learning something, listening to a podcast or listening to a YouTube video, and the way I usually handle that and do that is just, I try to study like one person per month or so. I might be looking at like Steve Jobs one month. I might be looking at Jeff Bezos the next month. I might be looking at Elon Musk the next month. For anybody listening, I mean, just apply that to whatever field that you're in. You like cars, you like motorcycles, whatever it is. Listen to the best guys in the world talking about how they built their motorcycles. You know, listen to the best guys in the world on how they built their trucks, or whatever the thing is that you're interested in. You'll be shocked at how far forward you'll move and how fast you'll move if you do that for the next 2-3 years.
Yeah, 100%.
So I know I asked you about what you're hoping for with your company, but more so just talking about yourself. You're always pushing yourself, whether it's lifting or currently rehabbing, like you're talking about with your knee. What do you have planned for yourself for this year? Like, are you potentially going to do a competition, anything like that, drop into a certain body weight? Like, what's going on with you?
No, I got, you know, in those terms, so to continue to push the business is one thing, because there's still so much growth that can happen within the business, and there's still there's still so many more places for all the people that work inside of Slingshot. There's still so much more growth that they can experience, and as a result of that growth, they can still make a lot more money themselves, and there's still like a lot of opportunity here. But in terms of my lifting and in terms of like bodybuilding, powerlifting, like I just feel very accomplished. I don't feel like I need to, I mean, I literally don't feel like I need to do anything, you know, if I didn't want to, but I love it. I do enjoy it. And so it is important sometimes to have some goals. I don't have any plans to do a bodybuilding show. I don't have any plans to do a powerlifting meet. The challenge is like, cause people are like, how do you stay motivated, or the challenge is the lifting itself, man. Like it's hard, you know, lifting is really, really, it's really tough. And then how many different ways can you be good at lifting? Somebody can be an 800-pound deadlifter, and someone else could say, all right, well, let's do burpees for 10 minutes straight, you know? And it's like, all right, well, now I'm dead, you know? So there's so many different aspects of fitness that are just really hard. It's really difficult to be good at all of them all the time. And I'm not necessarily trying to be good at all of them all the time, but I am trying to improve in many different spots. And then I just happen to stumble upon like a new interest, or happen to stumble upon something a little different that I just haven't explored much. And so more recently, I've been stretching a little bit. I've been working on some range of motion type stuff. I don't necessarily like, I can still squat, I can still bench, I can still deadlift, I can still do everything. I don't really have a lot of pain. But there are things where I'm like, well, if this continues to hurt any worse, or if this continues to go down this path, like my right knee and my left hip, it's just, I like, if it feels this way at 44, what's it going to feel like at 54? So I'm trying to address this stuff and just see, like, I get great advice from some great people, and I'm like, well, let me just apply this. Let me just see, let me just see if this makes any difference. And if it will make a difference, then I'll engage in it. But if I, mess with it and it doesn't do much, then, I'll discard it. And then with, like more recently, I did this 5-day fast thing, and I couldn't believe what it did for my sleep. It helped my sleep a lot. And so now I learned that I need to eat a lot earlier than I anticipated, so that I digest my food a little bit better before I go to bed. I got to eat probably 3 or 4 hours before bed. Not that I have to do that every night meticulously, but it's helpful for me to get better sleep and better rest. So I'm always investigating everything. I'm always poking around. Like I'm not short of, I'm never short of like figuring out a new challenge, but I don't necessarily need a powerlifting meet or I feel like I've done a lot of that, and I feel like I've done pretty good with it. So I'm cool with it. I lifted all the weights that I ever wanted to lift, pretty much.
Is there any chance you'll get in the ring and do some boxing?
No, I don't think so. I do love boxing though. I was considering, putting that back into my training, just because the cardiovascular of it is so awesome. And so I'll definitely will be putting that back into my training in the next couple of weeks and months. As soon as I put it back in last time, I ended up with like an elbow and a shoulder thing going on, like almost immediately, because right out of the gate, I just started throwing hard punches, and I was like, that was so stupid. What did I do that for? I'm mainly just doing it for the exercise of it. So I would love to bring that back into my training.
Yeah, I hear you. I actually reached out to Thor and offered to be a sparring partner for.
Oh, awesome.
I'm about the same size, but just waiting back to hear from him. He did get back to me, but yeah, I mean, I'm old too, and doing stuff like that doesn't seem so much fun anymore. Getting punched by Thor, I don't know if that's a great idea.
Who's going to win that one?
I think Thor for sure. I mean, have you been watching Eddie's videos? He's training hard, but in all the wrong ways. In my opinion.
I haven't seen much from either guy in a while. I don't have social media, so I don't know what's going on in the world. But I'll have to check it out. I am interested to see. Ultimately, it would come down to their cardiovascular too, right?
Yeah.
They both have pretty good cardio, but that's going to be a big factor.
Well, yeah. Thor has definitely taken on the whole boxing seriously. He's done exhibition, and he's dropped about 100 pounds.
Wow.
But Eddie's just trying to stay at like 370 and be strong, and he's still lifting heavy. And I'm like, that's not going to work out.
Yeah, you probably have to change. Like, I mean, I think I agree with what you're saying. I think you might have to change, so many different aspects of yourself. But it'll be interesting because, you have Eddie Hall coming, or you have Thor coming down in weight. Get Eddie Hall just saying, hey, I'm just going to maximize what I'm already good at, and I'm just going to, hope to land a bomb. And Thor is probably trying to go the more athletic route.
Yeah, I mean, one thing's for sure, people are going to be watching, and that's what these big celebrity fights are turning into. I was talking to Bob Sapp, and Shaq's calling him out, so that would be a good Bob Sapp versus Shaq. Did you imagine that?
Wow, that would be weird. You fought Bob Sapp, you said earlier, right?
I never fought him. I've been in contact with him, and yeah, he's kind of out of the scene, but I'm sure if someone drops some money, he'll be able to.
Right. Yeah, he was a beast. I mean, he was what, 225 or something like that. I mean, he was huge and jacked.
6'6", 360.
Oh my God.
And if you listen to the Joe Rogan podcast where he talks to the guy from Balco, I mean, he was sending barrels of stuff to him.
I can only imagine. I mean, he was massive.
Yeah, but very nice guy. He's awesome. One last thing I wanted to ask you is, we talk a lot of shit on this podcast and topic of shit. And out of all your guests, I know you always have poop stories. What's the worst poop story you ever heard from a guest?
I think Jay Cutler's poop story was probably the best. And we had a cartoonist actually like draw it out, and it was hilarious. But Jay Cutler, with bodybuilders, it's always the same story. Like they switch out their diet, they switch out their rice for quinoa or something like that. 'Cause it's got more fiber. And the next thing you know, they're just totally fucked and they end up on the toilet all day. But Jay Cutler actually had two really good stories. But the one I remember the most is when he was trying to get home because he had to take a shit really bad. I think he was coming back from the gym. And he was like, oh my God, like it's over. Like, I'm not going to make it. I'm going to shit my pants. And he's like, so out of nowhere, I just start shitting my pants. He's in his brand new car. And he said he shit so much that it raised him up on his seat. And he's like, it was disgusting. He's like, it went all up on my back and everything. And I was like, the fuck did you do with the car? Did you have to give it away, or like you have to sell it or something? I mean, it's like, I was able to, he had to go and have somebody clean it out or whatever. I was like, oh my God, that must have been horrible. But yeah, that was one of the more memorable ones. I love 𝐓 Cohen's story because her story was, she was just starting in the gym at the time, and the bathroom wasn't working, and she really had to take a shit, but she had nowhere else to go. So she's like, fuck it, I'm just going to go in the back. And she just went like outside in the back of the gym, but no one's there. I mean, the gym's not open or anything. So she did her thing. And she comes in the next day, and one of the guys that they had there working and cleaning up to help set the place up for when they get new people in, she's like, oh, how's everything going today? And the guy's like, oh, it's going really good. He goes, somebody's dog took the biggest shit in the back of the building. He's like, don't worry. It's like, don't worry, I cleaned it all up. She was like, oh my God.
Yeah, you definitely got to be careful. I'm with you. I'm like the 2 shits in the morning. If I don't do number 2 before I leave.
Oh yeah, second wave.
Yeah, I'm in trouble on a drive, and I'm white knuckling everywhere I go.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I shit my pants recently too. Like as of like 2 weeks ago, I was just I was like brushing my teeth, and it was like right when I got done with my fast, and I was like, I think I wasn't even paying attention. I was like brushing my teeth, and I'm like halfway looking at my phone, and I just had like one of those like little farts, that was just going to be like an air pocket, one of those like boop, just little one like that. And man, I was wrong. And you can't ever trust a fart. You got to be really careful. And so I just and the worst part is like I didn't know what to do with myself, because I wasn't just in my underwear. I was still in like all my clothes, and I was like, do I go to the bathroom to try to clean this up? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I have to go like right in the shower, because I'm like, I'm pretty sure I just completely had disaster pants, going on. So yeah, man, it still happens to me, unfortunately. I'm not out of the woods yet.
Did you ever have to shit yourself in equipment? Because I heard you're not taking that off. What if you got to go?
Because I heard a story about Ed Cohen shitting himself when he took 9.
Oh yeah, it just came out like Play-Doh. Yeah. No, luckily that never happened. Yeah, if you have to pee or poop, I mean, you're screwed. You're in like squat briefs and a squat suit and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you're out of luck at that point.
So then do you not eat before you get in the briefs? Like, how do you prevent that?
Yeah, you got to be cautious, man. You got to get everything out beforehand.
Awesome, Mark. Well, thanks for taking time out of your schedule. Do you have any messages to the smelly maniacs out there clanging and banging?
Yeah, just whatever ideas you got, whatever creations or inventions that you've been thinking about, whatever this idea is that's in your head, fucking go do it. Figure out a way to make it happen. If you, I think sometimes people, they get confused sometimes. They don't understand that you can work, you can make a living while working towards your fortune at the same time. So you could have a 9 to 5 and you can still work towards your dream goal or job on the weekends or any off time that you have. You can put your mind to those things. It doesn't, just because you have this bigger dream doesn't mean that you just, kind of sit around and not do much about it. You still might have to have a job that you really don't love for a while. Those are all just things that I just see people I see people doing, and I think sometimes it's or they'll quit their job, because you hear that, people say that all the time about entrepreneurs. Oh, just go quit your job, man, and just go chase your dream. It's like, well, that's not always feasible, right? Like, let's just talk like more realistically. Okay, keep the job, but while you have the job, why not get some footing going with that invention or creation or whatever it was that you wanted to do, the side gig or whatever it is. Get some footing with that, get some momentum with that. And then you can think about, okay, well, now it kind of looks like I got enough over here to where I could potentially leave this job. I heard somebody say one time that like a cemetery is not only a place of dead people, but it's shattered hopes and dreams that have died as well. Like there's people that never fulfilled their dreams, and they had an idea, they had a creation, they had something that they wanted to let out into the world. And I've heard musicians say this as well, and they have said like, and this is really, it gives me a good visual. Being an inventor, I can understand what they're talking about, but they'll say like, I don't want to die with any music inside of me, and that, so like, okay, maybe you don't have music inside of you, but like, what is your version of, what do you have inside of you? Like, what's the value that you have that you want to provide the world with, that you want to share with the world? And make sure you fucking let that shit loose before your time's up.
Yeah, 100%. That's the greatest advice I've heard in a long time. So you're a real inspiration, and thanks for sharing all your knowledge with us, Darrell.
Yeah, thanks again. Like, for me, it's very eye-opening and great to talk to someone like you, and just to hear your approach on things and all your tips for guys like us who are trying to make it to one day be at a stage like you.
Yeah, you guys are in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Whenever some of this lockdown stuff slows down, whenever things get back more to normalish, because I think you got like a 2-week waiting period if you go from there to California. You got to come visit Super Training Gym.
Definitely.
That is 100% going to happen. So we'll be there for sure.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Take care.
Special guest, slingshot inventor, the people's coach, Mark Bell. Would you rather? Would you rather?
All right, everybody. We haven't had a would you rather in a while. And just keeping up with our shit theme with Mark Bell. We like a lot of poop. It's like a German porn up in this motherfucker. Darrell, would you rather wake up every morning covered in shit, but be able to wash it off, or wake up every morning clean with shit breath that never goes away?
For me, that's a no-brainer. I'm going to say waking up covered in shit, because it means two things. One, I can still get clean, and two, I probably had a wild night. So either way, it's good times.
You definitely did have a wild night, Darrell. I don't know what you get up to, but you get down.
All right, I got one for you, Russ. Would you rather shove 4 golf balls up your asshole?
Make sure you start by adding a generous amount of anal lube to both yourself and the toy. Then simply insert the beads one at a time, slowly and gently. You don't need to put them all in, just go as far as you're comfortable with.
Or piss 1 marble out?
Oh, God. Well, I can tell you this, Darrell. I've had fucking logs larger than golf balls shoot up my asshole. That's for sure.
But going back in.
I don't know what shit's like going in, but I can only imagine what a marble would be like shooting through your fucking piss hole. So I'm going to go for the golf balls. As you know, homoerotic as that might sound, it's better than pushing out a marble through my urethra. Awesome, guys. Would you rather? A little fun there. A little shit talk, dick talk. Not so funny, but funny. And I'm sure you guys have better would you rather situations than us. So, Darrell?
Yeah, just drop any suggestions into our DM. Maybe you'll post it up on the story and you give us something you'd like us to talk about.
Yeah, hell yeah. We'll drop your name on it too. So stay tuned and drop us some shit on our Instagram page. A douche.
You ain't fooling anyone. Cul-de-sac corner. Shave that shit.
Welcome to Cul-de-sac Corner, where a lot of you bald fucks need to realize you need to give it up and do something about it. Like me, I'm bald as shit, but I gave it up years ago because I wasn't going to walk around and look like I was a lollipop dropped on a barbershop floor. Instead, I did something about it and shaved it all off. Not everyone can look good with a bald head. I'm not saying I'm the world's most attractive man, but I'm up there. And Russ, what do you got to say?
Well, there's some guys with fucking dolphin-shaped heads that might never look good with a bald head, but hey, it's worth a try. And Cul-de-sac Corner, we're about to call out probably one of the most dangerous guys in the world. And hopefully we never meet him, but Francis Ngannou, I don't know what's going on with this fucking, he's got the best barber going because half the time you don't know it's there. But then he'll be on his Instagram posting some shit about him doing some exercises, leaning forward like this. And what's uncovered, Darrell?
Yeah, you can see it's going back pretty bad, and I understand it's hard to get rid of it. But fuck it, you're past 30, let her go.
Yeah, and you're gonna look way more badass with a fucking shaved head. Jesus. I can imagine only you just decapitating people with a bald head. Much better, even if you got our homie at Scalp Tech to tat you up, and no one will know. How about that? Holy shit, guys. That was a phenomenal podcast. An amazing interview, probably by far our best to date. Mark Bell is a serious guy, fitness mogul, and we're happy to have him on, Darrell.
Yeah, it was amazing to get someone of his caliber on the podcast. Hopefully we're only going up from here, but I don't see how you can get any higher than talking with Bell for an hour.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we didn't hit our high, but what I know is we're going to continue to bring some amazing guests on. And, you know, we're not scared to go out and ask people. You'd be surprised some people we asked to be on the podcast. Darrell and I are also, you know, pursuing daily, you know, shooting messages to people and just thinking about ideas for the podcast, making it better, new segments every week. If you have any ideas, contact us. You know, we're open to stuff. Don't be scared. Maybe you want to jump on the podcast for an interview. Well, hey, we might do that for you. And don't be scared to eat big.
Train hard.
And always be fight ready.
2 guys, 1 bench. Shit talking. Strength sports. Combat sports. Prepare yourself for battle. lifting motivation.
Her lifting.
With Jana. Her lifting inside edition. Generation Strength Coach. Discover your